Hey guys, it's me, EOD Gamer here, and let's talk about the two new relic sets which they officially released the stats for on Hoyo Lab already, so we can now talk about them. That is Lusaka, Sunken Seas, which is a little bit more of a supportive set, and the Wondrous Banana Amusement Park here, which is more of an offensive set for your DPS characters. So very good balance, and they are both very interesting, so I highly recommend you check them out. I think they are very interesting, and I probably will be farming them for any of you who want like a TLDR, whether they're worth it or not. Let's start things first off with the support set first, Lusaka Sunken Seas. This I think is based on lore, where like a Watchmaker was from the underwater like sea planet or something. Hopefully we can go there eventually. But what this does is it increases energy regen by 5%. It's a 2-piece, of course, farmed from your simulated universe for your Planimal ornaments. If the wearer is not the first character in the team lineup, increase the attack of the first character in the team by 12%. What this basically means, this second part, is super good because it's super generic. Let's say you are having a team of something like this. So you have Acheron here, let's say you have a Black Swan here, and for example you have Xiao Qiu here, and maybe you have Ho Ho in the last slot. So move aside Sprightly Von Wack. So okay, let me just move this aside first. So let's say you have a team composition of something like this, and you slap on Lusaka for these three characters. All of them would then buff Acheron's attack percentage by 12% each. So you get a 36% attack buff. Of course, Acheron can't use this herself because she is in the first slot, so you don't proc it if the character is in the first slot. So up to 36% attack buff. This is very, very strong, especially if your character already needs a little bit of energy regen to complete her rotations. For example, like characters like Runmei is an example where you might probably run like a 2-piece just to get her 3-turn rotations perfected as well. So compared to the other two alternatives, same type damage boost. Of course, same type damage boost is good, but you can't always find characters that are always going to be same type damage, especially for DOT teams which use this attack percentage. You might not be able to find like 3 of the same lightning team for Kafka, or like 3 of the same wind supports for Black Swan, etc, etc. So Penacony is a little bit more niche, but in that niche, Penacony I think still outperforms in terms of the set. Sprightly Von Wack definitely, this is like way better. Lusaka is way better. Either Penacony or Lusaka is going to be way better than this. Very, very niche set for the second part of the effect. But both of them are competitors because they are both talking about energy regen, and that is my thoughts on the two of them. So Penacony, still good, but very niche. If you can find a character to put it on like a same element for your main DPS, use Penacony instead. It's very, very good, but it requires that same type element. Attack percentage here, super generic. You can slap it on anyone. You can buff any. Doesn't matter whether you're same path, you're same element or whatever not. Anyone can use it, whether you're crit DPS or whether you're a support. Attack is quite general. The other thing that a lot of people will be talking about when they look at this set is another generic set, for example, like this one here, which is going to be your Broken Kill 2-piece set. So Broken Kill is competitive against Lusaka because Broken Kill gives you 10% crit damage. Lusaka, on the other hand, gives your attack character 12%. So Broken Kill is going to be better if your damage is coming from multiple sources. You're having a double DPS lineup or maybe even a triple DPS lineup that is not DOT. So DOT teams generally would prefer Lusaka, especially if you have like one main output of damage. For example, like let's say you run with a team composition instead of Acheron here, your main DPS is like Black Swan, then Lusaka will help Black Swan, especially if she's doing a lot of the damage. Maybe like Xiao Qiu is in the next slot, maybe you have a Gui Naifen in the 3rd slot or something like that. So that's the difference between both of them. Attack percentage, universal, whether you're DOT or not DOT. Crit damage is specifically of like crit characters, so excluding DOT teams. This is all allies crit damage increased by 10%. I find this much better if you're going for like a double DPS route. If you're playing with a team of like Fei Xiao as a double DPS, maybe with Fei Xiao and Topaz and Nambi, you probably would want a little bit more on like team-wide buffing rather than single target buffing in hypercarry teams like Acheron, for example. Maybe single target buffing is like way better. So that is the difference between both of them. Of course, the effect rest 10% is much worse than the energy regen 5% in general. Most characters will actually prefer the 5% energy regen over having to build 30% effect rest in order to proc the crit damage. So that's just the difference between like Broken Kill and Lusaka Sunken Seas. In my opinion, I personally will go with the Lusaka. It's just more generic. If you are playing hyper carry, boosting like one main DPS, Lusaka is quite easy to build, and you can never go wrong with like having a 12%. The interesting part about this, and that's where I want to expand on, more so than the set itself, is I think Hoyoverse is planning to introduce a position-based style in Honkai Star Rail, where let's say you have one relic set that buffs your first character by 12% attack. Then maybe there's another set that's going to come out that buffs the second position's HP percentage by 12% or something. So they have like very, very strong buffs specifically for the position of the characters in your team. I think that's quite fun. We haven't really cared too much about positioning other than putting like your aggro drawers all the way to the side and like all the way on the other end, your DPSs. Other than that, positioning hasn't mattered too much. So I really like this change. If that's what they're trying to do, they're trying to implement. I think they tested it out in an event as well. Sounds pretty good. Let me know in the comments below as well what you guys think of this set. Are you going to farm it? And do you like this new positional change if they plan to add more of this in future too? I'd like to hear your thoughts as well. But now, let's go on with the second set. And straight away, like without a doubt, this is a Jingyuan and Topaz buff. Jingyuan has been like getting buffed non-stop. Ridiculous. Like if there was one character that the Hoyoverse just can't seem to let go of and just supports him from one patch like 1.0 all the way, that's a character like Jingyuan. This is a buff to him. Why is that? Is because it straight up increases crit damage. The 2P set effect increases crit damage by 16%, and when you have a target that is summoned on the field, we'll explain that in a bit, you get 32%. Jingyuan's Lightning Lord is perpetually on the field, so you have a perpetual, how much is this? 48% crit damage bonus on Jingyuan. On top of that, you add on his Before Dawn. That is going to be a ridiculous amount of crit damage that Jingyuan just gets for free. I don't know why they're trying so hard to buff him, but great stuff for Jingyuan mains out there. I think this is really strong for him. There's no ramp up time as well. You don't have to like slowly get more stacks and stuff, unlike some of the other sets in the game like Duran. This is like straight up 48% crit damage buff. So if you are a Jingyuan main, this is really strong. The interesting part that a lot of people are actually talking about is this target summoned by the wearer is on field. The characters that can use this summon effect, like in order to proc it, you have to have a summon by the wearer. So stuff that can use it probably will be Jingyuan, probably will be Topaz and Nambi, because Topaz has Nambi, Jingyuan has Lightning Lord, and the last one probably is Lingsha. For some of you who maybe want to build her for a crit for some reason, probably Lingsha is going to be one of them. The other characters that are a bit uncertain is, does Robin's out consider as a summon? I'm not too sure. Is Sevarog considered as a summon? These I'm not exactly too sure. So we definitely have to do more testing once the relics are out. But I think moving forward, if we have a slight more addition of support for summon type characters in the game, we might have a 9th team in Honkai Star Rail. But for now, in this very early on, this just seems like a small little style difference, which I'm not going to talk too much on, because it could be like just basic attacks or using ultimate damage or using your skill. It might just be a minor change, not an overall arcing team change. And we only have like 3 characters that fill out the team. So let's see in the near term, or like 2 months, 3 months, whether summon becomes more meta. The alternative to this, some of you who are already looking at this, wow, it's pretty good for these 2 characters, these 3 characters. It is quite niche because it's mainly used for a specific set of people. But at the end of the day, what's interesting to consider is Duran already offers pretty decent alternative. I put here, this is the Duran set, of course, the alternative to your Wondrous Banana. When ally uses follow-up attack, wearer gains 1 stack of merit, stacking up to 5 times. So it has a bit of a ramp-up time, this Duran set. Each stack of merit increases follow-up attacks by 5%, so up to 25%. When there are 5 stacks, you additionally get 25% crit damage. Topaz and Nambi, which is likely the people who are looking at this set for, comparing these 2, Duran as well as Wondrous Banana, the difference between both of them, this one here, Wondrous Banana, is a straight up crit damage buff. Doesn't matter whether you are basic attacking without follow-up or with follow-ups. It buffs like every single thing regardless of what it is. Whereas this one, on the other hand, if the follow-up attacking gives you 25% damage increase, 25% crit damage increase, which is a massive amount. The downside, 2 downsides, you need to ramp it up. You need to actually do 5 follow-up attacks first to get the 5 stacks. And then thereafter, you need to be able to do follow-up attacks. If not, you won't get the maximum amount of value. But for now, I think if you already have a very strong Duran set, probably Duran is going to outperform until you like farm the gear super high. But for Jingyuan, I think it's a clear case. Wondrous Banana is definitely going to be way better, since he does damage not only in follow-up, he does damage through his like scale basic, crit damage buffs all of them, whereas this damage increase from Duran only buffs the follow-up attacking from like Lightning Lord and stuff. And for any of you who are looking for future summon characters, I think this one is going to be quite interesting to farm. It's a bit niche right now. The more important thing is the direction that we're going to go. That's the interesting part, whether there's going to be a 9th team instead of our current 8 teams. And at this point, I highly recommend you check out the 8 teams video so that you know the current game state and why am I talking about a new style that might be added into the game. We'll see how that goes, but leave me a comment as well and share it with any of your friends who are planning or Jingyuan or Topaz mains as well. Please share it with them. Hopefully they can get something good value out of this. And thank you again so much for watching. See you next video.